back to my channel. You guys, it's been so long since I recorded a sit down video right here in front of my wall, just chilling, me and you. It's day, I don't even know what of quarantine, even though none of us are sick, but still gonna use that term. So today's story time is going to be about the time that I overdosed. I overdosed in college. Now, technically, people will say that you can't overdose on what I overdosed on, but I don't care what anyone says. I overdosed. I had too much, period. We are going to rewind back to my sophomore year in college. I was a college student. I attended the illustrious Southern Illinois University. I lived with one of my very good friends. She's in my wedding, like, coming up. Balana. I could say her name. The other two girls, I'm not gonna say their names now, just because, is this technically criminal? No. So I had two other roommates. We're gonna name them Sally and Keisha. So I'm living in an apartment it's an on-campus apartment, mind you, on-campus apartment. So I'm living in this on-campus apartment with Balana, my real friend, and then Sally and Keisha. They live on the other side. So it was a quad. It was a quad apartment, and me and my friend lived on one side, and then there was a kitchen, dining room. It was not a fucking dining room. There was a kitchen, a living area, like a common area, and then their rooms were on the other side with their bathroom and stuff. After we had like kind of hit it off with them a little bit, we were still kind of really getting to know them. So one dark, dismal day, we decided that we were going to smoke with them. This is my first time. I don't know if this is my friend's first time, but she was pretty much like me, like grew up in church, normal, regular, degular black girl. She grew up in Chicago though, so that's it. Only difference. But yeah, so I don't know if this is her first time or maybe she had already done it a few times, but she wasn't a smoker at all. Like, she was regular. So one day we decided to smoke, and when I tell y'all, that was one of the best days of my life. It was like, I don't remember how we smoked, like if it was a bong or a blunt or whatever. I don't even know the terms, but whatever we did, it was fun. All that I really remember from that time, that very first time that I got high, was the fact that it was fun and that it had like heightened my human ability. I was a superhero, period. So I remember my friend was eating, it was one of them, I don't remember who, but they was eating some type of cracker. And every time they took a bite out of that cracker, you could just hear the crumbs hit their legs. It was so loud. It was like, it was so loud. And I was just laughing and laughing, and it was just a really, really good time. Now, what do people usually do when they have a really, really good time? They do it again. Mistake. I should have just left it at that. But that's what happens to people. That's how you end up on a path to addiction. Boom, try it once. Next thing you know, you want to do it all the time. So we had got greedy and we wanted to try it again. We should have just left that good time at the good time that it was. It's like you always got to go back. What we didn't need, we already experienced it. I don't know what made me say, oh, let's try again. For what? You already did it. Anyway, I tried it again. And this time, Lord have mercy. We smoked. We smoked out of a bong. The bong was probably this big. First mistake. This is only your second time smoking weed. What are you smoking weed out of a bong this big for? I don't know, but to me it made sense, so I did it. So I smoked it, and it didn't work the first time. I was thirsty, like, oh, it's not hitting like that time before. So we smoke again out of a bong that's this big. Why would I do that? I don't know. But when that high hit me, I wanted to die, period. Y'all, so I'm sitting in that little common area, and on the, mind you, this is campus. The campus owns this. I'm sitting in the little common area on our little fake furniture, some Sims furniture that they got set up in there. I look over at the door. Mind you, I think I'm not high. I think it didn't work. I'm just sitting there probably on my phone, not really doing nothing. I don't know. I look at the back of the door. This is the front door. Sitting in just like this. I look over. The back of the damn door, it's a sign that say, emergency. When I read that, it was like emergency. What was the emergency? I don't know. My brain had triggered something within me that told me that there was some type of emergency. I don't even like know how that happened, but it did. So I'm panicking at this point. I feel my heart start to race. I'm getting nervous, but I don't know what I'm nervous about. So I step out onto the patio. I'm like, okay, maybe I just need to get some fresh air. Maybe something is like, I don't know. Mind you, it's cold outside. It's cold. When I stepped out onto that patio, you guys, there was no weather. It was nothing. It was as if it was like, it wasn't hot, it wasn't cold, it wasn't nothing. It didn't even feel like I was outside. It just felt like I had walked into another room. And when I felt that, I was like, what did they give me? What? I was like really starting to freak out, like for real. It made no sense to me. And I'm one of those people that's like black and white. I deal with real world stuff, and like when I walked outside and it felt like I walked into another room in my house, I was just very confused. It was supposed to be cold. Why is it not cold? Who turned off the temperature? They turned off the weather? So now me thinking I'm in some type of alternate reality, and then I walk outside and the weather ain't on. So I'm like, okay, well, this must be real. Clearly, the weather's off. Somebody turned it off, not me. Who's responsible? I don't know, but whatever, it's happening. So I go to my friend's room and I'm going to alert her. Obviously, we know that people like trip off of weed and like drugs, period, and that's kind of embarrassing. So you don't really want to, like, when this is happening, you don't really want to like just outwardly say, hey, I'm tripping. It's like you tiptoe around it. I just remember standing in her doorway, and I don't really know like what was actually happening, but in my brain, I just remember her standing there, and I remember her friend Tay being there as well. And I just remember not wanting to say it, but I just remember them laughing at me. Like, they were just laughing. And like, to me, it was like they were just in my face like, ho, 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 ho. I'm sure they weren't, but like, to me, it was like they were in my face like, ha, 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 and it was all these heads. It's funny now, but like, at the time, I was mortified. So my friend's like, go and get in the shower. It'll make you feel better. Now, what I didn't know at the time was getting in the shower was going to make it worse. In my mind, in this alternate reality that I was in, I thought that it was going to make me feel better. And so I'm like, okay, if this doesn't make me feel better, nothing will. I'm going to die here. So I got in the shower, hopeful that this would take all of my anxiousness, my heart racingness, my alternate reality that I can't get out of. I thought all of that would go away. But when I got in the shower and I turned, the water was already on, so I step in, and I swear, the water that was hitting my skin were needles. It was like I got in the shower and it hurt so bad. It was like, I'm like, what is this? So I'm like, maybe I just need to stand here a little bit and let it like wash off. Like it'll wash it away. So I stand there in pain and it's just, and I'm like, okay. After like a minute or so, I'm like, this is not fucking working. So I get out of the shower. I asked my friend to remind me of everything that was happening at the time. She says that at some point we got Quattro's pizza. My ex came, and yeah. So at this point, I'm really trying to like play it cool to not make it seem like I'm tweaking, because now the bae is there. So like I don't want to embarrass myself, and like I don't want to tell people that I'm like having this moment, because in my mind I know that eventually this will be over. But like at the time it was like I couldn't get past it. And I was so scared. Like I had never felt this way before. And so over time, the anxiousness, like I laid in bed with bae. I was trying to relax the best that I could, and it was just like nothing was working. I was just like having a very hard time breathing. My heart was racing really fast. I didn't know that like at that point I was kind of working myself up into an anxiety attack. I never dealt with anxiety before. Like I said, this has been the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to me. So like I have never like dealt with these like type moments, because I've never had anything like really happen to me before. So like all this is happening. All I can think about is how I can't call my parents and tell them. Like if I call my mom and say, hey mom, I just smoked weed out of a bong with some people that I just met, and yeah, now I'm freaking out. My mom was what was she gonna do anyway? She was gonna kill me over the phone, but I went to school hours away from home, so it was no point in me calling them for real, unless I was really gonna die. Was I really gonna die? Probably not, so I didn't want to call them. But I did get to the point where I personally felt like I needed to go and seek help, because my heart, it was starting to like scare me. Like, okay, my heart's racing a little bit because I'm nervous. That's one thing, but now it's like really like uncontrollable. I could not calm down. I could not stop breathing fast. It felt like my throat was closing. There was like this just weird feeling, and I just was like, I need to get help. So I went to the hospital. Who goes to the hospital for weed? Me. So I get to the hospital. We went to Carbondale, what was it? Carbondale Memorial? I don't even know what it's called. But we went to the Carbondale Hospital. There, I just remember going through triage and telling them that I couldn't really breathe and that I was a chronic asthmatic and just all these things. They checked my my vitals, and they put this red armband on me that was like I was at risk for cardiac arrest. Like, and to them, I'm lying to them. I'm like, yeah, I don't know why my heart just started beating so fast out of nowhere. It just started doing this, and I can't really breathe that well. And I don't know. I've never had heart problems before. It's just so random, so suddenly. I don't know how it happened. So they're like panicking, thinking that like I'm really having this like cardiac moment, and they don't know why. So they put this band on me. I go back, and the doctors, nurses, they're all coming in and out, trying to figure out what's going on, asking me, do I have problems with anxiety? I'm like, no, I've never had problems with anxiety, ever. I don't know why I'm like this. Just so suddenly, didn't do anything. I don't know why I thought that, like, if I told them the truth, that I was gonna get in trouble. Like, I don't know where that came from, but I just didn't want to tell them. So they're like freaking out, giving me all this stuff or whatever, giving me albuterol, which everybody who knows has asthma, if you take albuterol, what happens? Your chest starts banging even more. I'm like, okay, they keep giving me albuterol. I need to tell them what happened. So I finally tell someone. I'm like, yeah, I smoked a little bit of weed and like, I'm just really having a hard time. And they were like, oh, they kind of laughed and were like, you should have told us that when you very first got here. We could have been helped you. Now, the medicine that they gave me was a medicine that was going to like kind of restart my heart to get it back on track, kind of, I guess. I don't know. But I just know that the medicine had a 6-second half-life and that it was just going to help calm my heart down so that it can get back on track, being as nothing was actually wrong with me. I was just having a fast heart rate. So they give me this medicine. They tell me that when they put the medicine in, it's going to, like, my eyes may close and it's going to feel like I'm dying. Literally, that's what she said. She said, now when I give you this, it's gonna feel like you're dying. So I'm like, oh my God, I get to see what dying is like. What the fuck? What if I die? So I'm like even more panicked by this medicine. And I'm like, who even came up with this? So they give it to me and the feeling was just like, I obviously feel it cold in my arm, got cold, and I'm like, okay, it's coming. And then it was just like this feeling of impending doom. It was like a darkness that I couldn't control. It was like my eyes closed and everything, and then I could still hear though. And then yeah, it was just like my eyes closed. That was really it. My eyes closed and I felt like I was dying, but I don't know if I closed my eyes just because or if it made me close my eyes. But regardless, my eyes closed, and that was it. There was a very big pressure on my chest. It felt like somebody, Thanos, had just punched me right in the chest, and then it was over. So after that, my heart still kind of was like going a little haywire. So they told me that they were going to have to give me a double dose, and so they did. And the second time it lasts longer, but it was still fairly quick, maybe like 12-15 seconds or so. So after that, I did begin to calm down. Everything went back to normal. I'm pretty sure the police came in there. Ask me all these questions. I'm a snitch, bitch. You put me and my life at risk, I'm telling. Period. I don't care about none of that. This ain't the streets. This is not the streets, period. There's no snitching stuff. That's for gangsters. Bitch, I'm not a gangster. I'm telling you, try to kill me, period. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking you try to kill me, so you need to go down. Even though it's not my fault. So, yeah, that was pretty much everything that happened. After that, I did have some issues. That anxious feeling didn't really go away. Like, that wasn't just particular for that event. It ended up following me for a while, which was very scary. I thought that I would never not feel anxious again. Eventually it did go away. I don't have anxiety problems now. But at the time it was very scary to think like, dang, like I kind of have no control over my thoughts, and like I'm thinking all these bad things and I don't really know how to stop it, and like what do I do? It was very scary for me because I don't deal with stuff like that. I don't worry. I'm not a worrier. I don't worry about what's to come and things that I can't control. That's not me. Like if I'm gonna get hit by a car, I'm gonna just get hit by a car. I'm gonna get hit by a car, the ambulance gonna come, I'm gonna make it or I'm not. But like to just be walking around like, what if I get hit by a car? What if I get cancer? What if I'm going to sleep right now and I don't wake up? Like, what if? Okay, what if? What you gonna do? Nothing. That's how I am for real. But like at that time, it was like I couldn't stop thinking about all these bad things that could possibly happen. Like, what if I get an F? What if I like, girl? So eventually that was over. I stopped being like that. But at the time, I thought it was never gonna end. It was a very scary time in my life. To this day, I don't participate in recreational drugs. You can't really pay me to. that's just not my thing. Knowing that that's how I reacted that one time, I feel like if I ever did smoke weed again, that it would probably trigger me to be like that again. I don't know. To this day, people ask me what was wrong with the weed and blah blah. I don't know, but that's what happened. That's my story. I highly recommend don't smoking weed out of big bones this big. Yes, it's just not the best idea, honestly, truly. So that's all I have for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, laughing, having this moment with me. Again, don't do recreational drugs unless you have experience, I guess, because it's now legal, so I can't really tell people to not do drugs. If that's your cup of tea, sip it. I don't like tea, so we just gonna let it be. All right, so if you guys would do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, put this in your group chat, send it to your friends, laugh a little, give somebody something to watch during this quarantine, and have a blessed day. In Jesus' name, amen. Bye.